We are learning Likkutei Torah, Vayikra, Daf Gimel, and we are ending off the Maimer Adam Yaakov. The other Maimer Adam Yaakov is about the Yisrusa D'Leila that we can receive at any time, that inspires us, that has to be taken advantage of, to be an Yisrusa D'Lasata, and that ultimately will, if it's done right, can produce a follow of Yisrusa D'Leila. So the end of the Maimer Adam Yaakov is explaining how Pesach and Sfiros Ha'omer are a classic example of this, in that Pesach begins with this opening inspiration. There's then our work, the work Mamata Lamaila of Sfiros Ha'omer, and then there's the response, which is the Matan Torah, which is the follow-up Giloi Mamayla Lamata. We then have the Biur on that Maimer, which is the rest of the Daf. In that Biur, the Alter Rebbe explains that there's two types of Mesiras Nefesh. There's a Mesiras Nefesh of Echad, which is a Mesiras Nefesh of Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. This is a Giloi that comes from Zada Atzilus and goes to the Nefesh Elokis. It's a relationship of Adam in the phrase Adam Ki Yakriv, and this Mesiras Nefesh is one in which I dedicate myself to the complete exclusion of all of reality, both Mamala and Seviv. That I'm completely lost in the Havaya, in the Aryan Seif, in the Ani Havaya Leishanisi perspective, that all I see is Avishter, and there's nothing else. The lower level, the lower Mesiras Nefesh is the Mesiras Nefesh of B'chol Nafshecha, and this Mesiras Nefesh is produced by the Baruch Shem, and that perspective, that Mesiras Nefesh, is one in which I recognize reality. It's from the perspective of the Nefesh Bahamas that I recognize reality, but I have the ability first to subjugate reality where necessary through Eskafia, and to revert materialism, to revert my reality to Elokus through the process of Ishafcha. And the Alter Rebbe explains that there's two corresponding Hispanicism for these two types of Mesiras Nefesh. The first Hispanicism is one of total Mesiras Nefesh of Ani Havaya Leishnifi. It's only Shayach to the Nefesh Elokis because the Nefesh Elokis comes from the Eibishter himself, and so the Nefesh Elokis can appreciate this. Mash'ein Kain, the Nefesh Bahamas, which needs to begin at least with the perspective of materialism, because that's what the Nefesh Bahamas understands, and but the Hispaniness that the Nefesh Bahamas does of thinking about the world and then thinking about the fact that really God is in control of that world, and that ultimately this world is just a glimmer of God's revelation, is something that can have a tremendous effect on the Nefesh Bahamas and ultimately do Eskafia and Ishafcha. And ultimately the aliyah that this produces is not just an aliyah in the Nefesh Bahamas, but also an aliyah in the Nefesh Elokis. The Nefesh Elokis gains tremendously from this process, which is the Eishes Chayil Teres Baila. And the final question that the Alter Rebbe has is, how is it that a Nefesh Elokis, which comes from Tikkun, has the ability to affect the Nefesh Bahamas, which comes from Taihu, despite the fact that the Nefesh Bahamas, at least from this perspective, has a higher source. And so what he explains is that although Nefesh Elokis has Shem Ma and Nefesh Bahamas has is from Shem Ban, there is a perspective in which Ma comes from Ban, or that Ma is directly linked and directly tied to Ban, and that the value and the quality of a Jew is that the Jew can appreciate both perspectives, both in the perspective of the Nefesh Bahamas and the perspective of the Nefesh Elokis, and combine the two. And this can be done through Torah. That Torah produces Avarabba, it awakens this Ava Musataras, and it engages both the Nefesh Elokis, which is the perspective that everything is godly, and that I don't necessarily even see the world, and the Nefesh Bahamas, which is that I see how God is in the world, and that the two of them together can be combined to serve God in the ultimate way, which is offering up the karbanos, as the pasuk ends off, the actual refinement of the different animalistic qualities that we have to serve and use them for the Eibishter.